Hello, I am AxelMC131 and welcome back to Behind the Blocks in Minecraft 1.11. I actually haven't been in this world for a little while. I'm probably a little bit out of practice, but I decided to come back and develop a concept. This was actually based on a discussion that I was having with Redux for stuff. For various projects, and he'd come up with a system for making like pots that you can break and money comes out. You know, the generic sort of thing. I'd actually done a similar system a long time ago, which involved commands, and that one basically you broke a pot, a silverfish popped out, and then you could kill the silverfish and you would get gold. It was kind of mediocre, if I'm honest. But I decided to challenge myself and came up with a new one. And this is my updated. Well, it's not really updated because it's an entirely different mechanic. This is a survival-friendly version, and that means that you can actually build this entire system fully operational in survival. It's actually kind of neat. Now, the mechanic initially might seem a little obvious, but I'm pretty sure you can make this look quite nice. Yes, this is an observer block, but it actually looks kind of nice in front of this, and this, as far as I can tell, is exploit-proof and cheat-proof. So obviously this would be if you're trying to like set something up cool for adventure map or something cool to do with players. So you can build it in creative if you're thinking that people are going to come around on adventure mode, or if you're on a survival server, you could build this just to have some fun with some players. Okay, so let's get into what this actually does. So if I just go into game mode 0, here we go, we're in survival, and basically the way it works is that you can go up to a pot. You'll see this little shrine type thing. There's like a clay pot, and if you break it, you'll actually get gold out of it. Pretty cool, huh? And you might think, oh, was there gold in there? No, I'll tell you now, there's no gold in here initially. And also, you cannot replace the pot and break it again. It only works once. Only works once, and then it won't let you do it again. So it's exploit proof there, whether you're in survival or adventure mode. So it's pretty cool. And I won't go into resetting it. I'll go into the reset in the explanation, but we'll just stick that back. Go back into game mode. Game model. Game mode 1. As I said, I'm a little bit out of practice. Haven't been doing any creative stuff in a little while. Let's just chuck that back in there. Okay. So, that's the basic principle of this, and you can actually put any reward in there and any block type here. It doesn't have to be a pot, but again, I'll get into that in a moment. Actually, no. We'll get into that now. Let's go and see how this thing actually works. Okay, so here's the old bare-bones skeletal version of how this is actually put together, and you can see immediately that we've got a few different types of block here. So it might not seem obvious at first, but I've actually got 4 different types of these, this stone type block. You know, the selection, furnace, dispenser, and so on. These 2 are pistons. These 2 do nothing. Right? These 2 are just for the aesthetic to match this sort of line of them. Then we've got the observer block, a dispenser, and that one there's actually a dropper. And there's an important reason for that. Okay, so behind here you can see the redstone, and it's actually very simple. This dropper, which is actually holding all the prizes, well, I say prizes, all the whatever item you want, and this is actually cool because you could probably randomize this, and you can fill this up with as much as you want because you don't have to refill it after every time. The way that you reset it is by breaking and replacing a piece of redstone dust. So I'll show you that momentarily. So this observer block, basically what happens when you break this pot is this observer block will notice the block update, which is why this works with any block here. I also like the idea of using it with skulls or, I don't know, like just any block, like a cobweb or a torch. And you just break it, and the observer block will output a signal, and that will be transferred down and then through these redstone repeaters. It will be a very short tick, but it's long enough to do two things. Excuse me. The first thing it does is it activates this dropper, and because we're powering this from a redstone repeater, this block also has an adjacent, like, extra power to that block above it. So it powers the dropper and the dispenser in the same tick, which will appear to fire the gold ingot up out of the dispenser when it actually doesn't appear to pass through the dispenser at any point. And that's why it's cheat proof. This item to the player, unless it's a bit laggy, will never have an item in it. You will never be able to like look at this while someone else breaks it and see an item flow through here. It happens in the same tick, which basically means the gold ingot goes up and out in one tick. It's kind of neat. Now in the same moment, this redstone line here is activated, and this redstone repeater is activated, and this is going straight into the side of this repeater, and that activates a latch. Now, if you're savvy with redstone, you probably know what a latch is. They're very underused, I think probably because since commands came in and people started moving into command redstone rather than redstone. But a latch basically is activated when you have a redstone repeater going into the side of another one, and as long as this one's powered, this one will hold its last position. So you can use it like a binary counter. So I'll explain that there by if I break this pot, you're going to see this redstone line down here light up. The repeaters will light up. This redstone repeater will light up, and you also have the gold ingot come out, and then this will turn into a latch. Watch. Bang. So this is now locked in the on position, and that means that it cannot be activated again until you manually reset it, even by placing and breaking the pot. The observer block, you can see, is actually still outputting a signal, but because this is already on, it doesn't actually change what the output here is. Now, to reset this, really simple, all you have to do, come in manually yourself in creative or survival, whatever you are, place the pot back down, place your prize back in if you want to. You don't actually have to. You can just leave a stack in there, and then break that redstone dust and place it again. And you can see it's been reset and then can be used again. Ding! And it locks again. Simple as that. Pretty neat, huh? And again, you can put up to 9 different stacks of whatever prize you want. So you could also have like an unstackable item, like a potion or something, or a mix of gold and iron and diamonds and stuff. It depends how nice you want to be to your players, and also whether you're building this in survival for the sake of other players or in creative for a survival game adventure mode or something like that. I don't know. It's up to you. I just like doing this sort of thing. It's incredible how I'm really quite happy that I managed to do this in survival, in all honesty, because there's a bunch of different ways of doing this sort of thing in creative, and I actually quite like this way. I think it's quite concise, and it's fairly compact as well. Obviously, you have to raise the floor around this area, but you can cover that up with this sort of shrine design that I've made, and it ends up looking quite good. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm going to get on straight away to teaching you guys how to actually build this for yourself. Okay, so here's the old traditional pot on a shelf that you can break and stuff comes out of it. Now this currently doesn't work, there's no redstone behind it, and I'm going to show you guys how to build it. So, whoops. I'm going to walk off the edge. Here we go. Here's our chest of materials. This is all you're actually going to need, other than whatever materials you want to build your wall out of and your decorations around it. The stuff you're going to need is a dispenser and a dropper, an observer block, and if you want to do this little decoration up there to make it flow a little nicer, I'm using just regular pistons, because you can't interact with them by right-clicking. Then we're also going to need redstone dust and 3 redstone repeaters, and then either a pot or a skull or whatever you want to put that you want the player to break, and then whatever you want in your rewards tray, I suppose. Your ready rack of rewards. Anyway, right, so let's get these items out, and we'll also get oh, I forgot to put in the redstoning block. Goodness me, if you've been watching these long enough, you'll know that there should be a redstoning block, which is, in my case, lime-hardened clay, because I like it. Okay, so this is the level we want the pot on. We're going to break out that block. We're going to go just quickly whip around to the back and place the observer block there. And then if you want to do the little patterning, the blocks up here are going to be pistons, just to blend it in a little bit better, so it looks like there's actually like a column inset in here. Then we're going to take that block, take it out. We're going to put one block further down, and we're going to put a dropper. The dropper facing up, so it's going to try and feed items into the block above it, and then a dispenser facing up. So you see how those are stacked together. Dropper and then dispenser, both of them facing up. Then we can put our pot back on there if we want. And then we're going to need to break out some of these blocks in the side, and if you want to do, again, to cover them up a little bit, then you might need, slabs or blocks or whatever you want. It's entirely, this is a decoration bit, which is entirely up to you, but I'm just going to do that for the moment. And then we're going to whip around here, and we're going to start putting in some of the redstone. So, we're going to need a block back from the observer block there. You can knock that out if you want, you don't really need to. And then we're going to have another block back and down, like that. And then we're going to have another block down and further in, like that. So we've got this funny little triangle shape. And then one in there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So we've got this little 3 by 2 block here. And one of the corners is occupied by the facing up dropper. Now let's go and get our redstone blocks. We're going to need redstone dust and repeater. We're going to put 2 repeaters in a line here, and 1 repeater going into the side of the front one there. And none of these you should need to change the delay on. They should all work fine just on the default delay. Then we're going to put 3 redstone dust there, so that's going to carry the current when it goes through this block from this repeater back around to that repeater, and then we're going to put 2 just coming out of the back of the observer block. And that's it. All you have to do at that point is the manual task of loading it and either placing a pot or a skull. In this case we've got the pot there, and we can then jump down here, fill this up with whatever we want, and then it's set. That's it. So let's just get rid of all of those. So now, again, I can go into game mode 0, I can go up here, break that, and I get gold! Yay! But I can't exploit it, as you can see. So if I just go back into game mode 1, so we're going to break that, place something back. Let's place a skull this time. Whoops. My bad. There we go. You need to place stuff back before you actually break that, because otherwise it will just click stuff out. There we go. So now it's set with a skull. And again, game mode 0. Break the skull. And I get gold. But, oh, only works once. And that's pretty much all there is to it. So, yeah, I hope that you have enjoyed this concept. I hope that you will find uses for it. I'm thinking of putting this into maybe placing these sort of things in a sort of shrine around the Skyplex, and maybe even talking to First Gen Gamer about having a go with some of these, just because they're cute. I'm sure you could also come up with a command system to automatically reset them, but I just quite like watching this thing work. It's nice. It's nice. It's always satisfying to do clever things with redstone only. Because I think commands, a lot of the time, are easy street. I mean, that's always what you want if you're doing something intensive, but for simple little individual concepts, it's cool. It's cool. You can't argue with that. It's fun to do stuff like that. But yes, that is all I have for you guys today. So if you liked this video, then please leave a like. And if you want to see more, then subscribe and stay tuned. And direct all thoughts, questions, and feedback to the comments below. And yeah, guys, thank you very much for watching. I've been XLMC131, and I'll see you next time.